Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Today we are going to talk about adult literacy. Literacy in India is a key for socio-economic progress, and the Indian literacy rate has grown to 74.04% from 12% at the end of British rule in 1947. Although this was greater than six-fold improvement, the level is well below the world average literacy rate of 84%, and of all nations, India currently has the largest illiterate population. Despite government programs, India's literacy rate increased only slowly, and a 1990 study estimated that it would take until 2060 for India to achieve universal literacy at then current rate of progress. The 2011 census, however, indicated a 2001 to 2011 decadal literacy growth of 9.2%, which is slower than the growth seen during the previous decade. There is a wide gender disparity in the literacy rate in India. From the age 7 and above, in 2011 were 82.14% for men and 65.46% for women. The low female literacy rate has had a dramatically negative impact on family planning and population stabilization efforts in India. Studies have indicated that female literacy is the strongest predictor of the use of contraception among married Indian couples, even when women do not otherwise have economic independence. The census provided a positive indication that growth in female literacy rates, 11.8%, was substantially faster than in male literacy rates, 6.9%, in the 2001 to 2011 decadal period, which means the gender gap appears to be narrowing. The current literacy rate of India is 74.04%. Let's have a look at the table now that shows the adult and youth literacy rates for India and some neighboring countries in 2002. Adult literacy rate is based on the 15 plus years age group, while the youth literacy rate is for the 15 to 24 years age group, that is, youth is a subset of adults. China, adult literacy rate or ALR, 95.1% in 2010, youth literacy rate ages 15 to 24 or YLR, 99.7% in 2015. Sri Lanka, ALR, 92.6% in 2015, YLR, 98.8% in 2015. Myanmar, ALR, 89.9% in 2007, YLR, 96.3% in 2015. World average, ALR 84% in 2010, YLR 89.6% in 2010. India, ALR 74.04% in 2011, YLR 90.2% in 2015. Nepal, ALR 55.5% in 2007, YLR 86.9% in 2015. Pakistan, ALR 50.2% in 2007, YLR 74.8% in 2015. Bangladesh, ALR 53.5% in 2007, YLR 83.2% in 2015. One of the main factors contributing to relatively low literacy rate is usefulness of education and availability of schools in vicinity in rural areas. There is a shortage of classrooms to accommodate all the students in 2006 to 2007. No proper sanitation in most schools. The study of 188 government-run primary schools in central and northern India revealed that 59% of the schools had no drinking water facility and 89% no toilets. In 6 lakh villages and multiplying urban slum habitats, free and compulsory education is the basic literacy instruction dispensed by barely qualified para-teachers. The average pupil-teacher ratio for all India is 42:1, implying teacher shortage. Such inadequacies resulted in a non-standardized school system where literacy rates may differ. Furthermore, the expenditure allocated to education was never above 4.3% of the GDP from 1951 to 2002, despite the target of 6% by the Kothari Commission. This further complicates the literacy problem in India. Severe caste disparities also exist in India. Discrimination of lower caste has resulted in high dropout rates and low enrollment rates. The National Sample Survey Organization and the National Family Health Survey collected data in India on the percentage of children completing primary school, which are reported to be only 36.8% and 37.7% respectively. Only 47 out of 100 children enrolled in class 1 reach class 8, putting the dropout rate at 52.78%. It is estimated that at least 35 million and possibly as many as 60 million children aged 6 to 14 years are not in school. Absolute poverty in India has also deterred the pursuit of formal education, as education is not deemed of as the highest priority among the poor as compared to other basic necessities. The MRP based mixed recall period poverty estimates of about 22% of poverty in 2004 to 2005, which translated to 22 out of per 100 people are not meeting their basic needs, much less than meeting the need for education. The large proportion of illiterate females is another reason for the low literacy rate in India. Inequality based on gender differences resulted in female literacy rates being lower at 65.46% than that of their male counterparts at 82.14%. Due to strong stereotyping of female and male roles, sons are thought to be of more useful and hence are educated. Females are pulled to help out on agricultural farms at home, as they are increasingly replacing the males on such activities which require no formal education. Fewer than 2% of girls who engaged in agriculture work attended school. The British period. Prior to the British era, education in India commenced under the supervision of a guru in traditional schools called Gurukulas. The Gurukulas were supported by public donation and were one of the earliest forms of public school offices. However, these Gurukulas catered only to the upper caste males of Indian society, and the overwhelming masses were denied any formal education. In the colonial era, the Gurukul system began to decline as the system promoted by the British began to gradually take over. Between 1881 to 82 and 1946 to 47, the number of English primary schools grew from 82,916 to 1,34,866, and the number of students in English schools grew from 20,61,541 to 1,05,25,943. Literacy rates in accordance to British in India rose from 3.2% in 1881 to 7.2% in 1931 and 12.2% in 1947. In 2000 to 2001, there were 60,840 pre-primary and pre-basic schools and 6,64,041 primary and junior basic schools. Total enrollment at the primary level has increased from 1 crore 92 lakhs in 1950 to 51 to 10 crores 98 lakh in 2001 to 2002. The number of high schools in 2000 to 2001 was higher than the number of primary schools at the time of independence. In 1944, the government of British India presented a plan called the Surgeon Scheme for Educational Reconstruction of India, with the goal of producing 100% literacy in the country within 40 years, that is by 1984. Although the 40-year time frame was derided at the time by leaders of the Indian independence movement as being too long a period to achieve universal literacy, India had only just crossed the 74% level by the 2011 census. The provision of universal and compulsory education for all children in the age group of 6 to 14 was a cherished national ideal and had been given overriding priority by incorporation as a directive policy in Article 45 of the Constitution. But it is still to be achieved more than half a century since the Constitution was adopted in 1949. Parliament has passed the Constitution 86th Amendment Act 2002 to make elementary education a fundamental right for children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. In order to provide more funds for education, an education cess of 2% has been imposed on all direct and indirect central taxes through the Finance No. 2 Act 2004. The literacy rate grew from 18.33% in 1951 to 28.30% in 1961, 34.45% in 1971, 43.57% in 1981, 52.21% in 1991, 64.84% in 2001 and 74.04% in 2011. During the same period, the population grew from 361 million to 1,210 million. According to Census 2011, Kerala has the highest total literacy rate and female literacy rate, whereas Lakshadweep had the highest male literacy rate. Bihar has the lowest total literacy rate and male literacy rates, while Rajasthan has the lowest female literacy rate. Kerala is the most literate state in India with 93.91% literacy. Bihar is the least literate state in India with a literacy of 63.82%. Several other social indicators of the two states are correlated with these rates, such as life expectancy at birth 71.61 for males and 75 for females in Kerala, 65.66 for males and 64.79 for females in Bihar. Infant mortality per 1000 live births 10 in Kerala, 61 in Bihar. Birth rate per 1000 people 16.9 in Kerala, 30.9 in Bihar, and death rate per 1000 people 6.4 in Kerala, 7.9 in Bihar. Every census since 1881 had indicated a rising literacy in the country, but the population growth rate had been high enough that the absolute number of illiterates rose with every decade. The 2001 to 2011 decade is the second census period after the 1991 to 2001 census period, when the absolute number of Indian illiterates declined by 3 crores 11 lakhs 96,847 people, indicating that the literacy growth rate is now outstripping the population growth. Bihar is the only remaining Indian state in 2011 census where less than 65% of the population was literate. It is also only one of two states where less than 75% of the male population, the other being Arunachal Pradesh, was literate, and only one of two states where less than 55% of the female population, the other being Rajasthan, was literate. 6 Indian states account for about 70% of all illiterates in India: Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal. Slightly less than half of all Indian illiterates, 48.12%, are in 6 Hindi-speaking states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. Several states in India have executed successful programs to boost literacy rates. Over time, a set of factors have emerged as being key to success: official will to succeed, deliberate steps to engage the community in administering the program, adequate funding for infrastructure and teachers, and provisioning additional services which are considered valuable by the community, such as free school lunches. Bihar has slightly raised the literacy rate as per the 2011 census. The literacy rate has risen from 39% in 1991 to 47% in 2001 to 63.8% in 2011. The government of Bihar has launched several programs to boost literacy, and its Department of Adult Education even won a UNESCO award in 1981. Bihar's government schools have also faced teacher absenteeism, leading the state government to threaten withholding of salaries of teachers who failed to conduct classes on a regular basis. To incentivize students to attend, government announced 1 rupee per school day grant to poor children who show up at school. The Tripura success story is attributed to the involvement of local government bodies, including Gram Panchayats, NGOs and local clubs under the close supervision of the State Literacy Mission Authority, or SLMA, headed by the Chief Minister. Tripura attained 87.75% literacy in the 2011 census, from the 12th position in the 2001 census to the 4th position in the 2011 census. The programs were not just implemented to make the state literate, but as long-term education programs to ensure all citizens have a certain basic minimum level of education. Tripura has 45 blocks and 23 subdivisions that are served by 68 government-run schools and 30 to 40 private schools. Among projects implemented by the state government to increase literacy in the state are: total literacy drive for people aged between 15 and 50 who have lost the chance of entering formal education fold; a special program titled Improved Pace and Content Learning, or IPCL, has been designed to provide basic education to such people. 10,000 Anganwadi centers have 100% enrollment. Policy of no examination till class 8 to prevent children from dropping out. Midday meals in all schools with an eclectic menu for all days of the week to attract more students. No tuition fee in government colleges. The holistic education system implemented with equal interest in Agartala, remote areas and the tribal autonomic areas makes sure that people in Tripura do not just become literate but educated, officials emphasized. One pointer to the government's interest in education is the near total absence of child labour in Tripura. Kerala has the highest literacy rate among the states of India, followed by the state of Mizoram. Kerala topped the Education Development Index, or EDI, among 21 major states in India in the year 2006 to 2007. More than 94% of the rural population has access to primary school within 1 kilometer, while 98% of population benefits one school within a distance of 2 kilometers. An upper primary school within a distance of 3 kilometers is available for more than 96% of the people, whose 98% benefit the facility for secondary education within 8 kilometers. The access for rural students to higher educational institutions in cities is facilitated by widely subsidized transport fares. Kerala's education system has been developed by institutions owned or aided by the government. In the educational system prevailed in the state, schooling is for 10 years, which is divided into lower primary, upper primary and high school. After 10 years of secondary schooling, students typically enroll in higher secondary schooling in one of the three major streams like liberal arts, commerce or science. Upon completing the required coursework, students can enroll in general or professional undergraduate programs. Kerala undertook a campaign for total literacy in Ernakulam district in late 1980s, with a fusion between the district administration headed by its collector on one side and on the other side voluntary groups, social activists and others. On 4th February 1990, the government of Kerala endeavoured to replicate the initiative on a statewide level, launching the Kerala State Literacy Campaign. First, households were surveyed with door-to-door multi-stage survey visits to form an accurate picture of the literacy landscape and areas that needed special focus. Then, Kala Jathas, cultural troupes and Saksharata Padayatras, literacy foot marches were organized to generate awareness of the campaign and create a receptive social atmosphere for the program. An integrated management system was created involving state officials, prominent social figures, local officials and senior voluntary workers to oversee the execution of the campaign. Himachal Pradesh underwent a schooling revolution in the 1961 to 2001 period that has been called even more impressive than Kerala's. Kerala has led the nation in literacy rates since the 19th century and seen sustained initiatives for over 150 years, whereas Himachal Pradesh literacy rates in 1961 were below the national average in every age group. In the three-decadal 1961 to 1991 period, female literacy rate in the 15 to 19 years age group went from 11% to 86%. School attendance for both boys and girls in the 6 to 14 year age group stood at over 97% each when measured in the 1998 to 1999 school year. A key factor that has been credited for these advances is Himachal's cultural background. Himachal Pradesh is a Himalayan state with lower social stratification than many other states, which enables social programs to be carried out more smoothly. Once the government of Himachal Pradesh was able to establish a social norm that schooling is an essential part of every child's upbringing, literacy as a formal attribute of life was adopted very rapidly. Government efforts in expanding schools and providing teachers were sustained after the 1960s, and communities often responded very collaboratively, including with constructing school rooms and providing firewood essential during the Himalayan winters. Mizoram is the second most literate state in all of India, second only to Kerala, with Sarchip and Aizwal districts being the two most literate states in India. Literacy rate is 98.76% and 98.50%, both in Mizoram. Mizoram's literacy rate rose rapidly after independence, from 31.14% in 1951 to 88.80% in 2001. As in Himachal Pradesh, Mizoram has a social structure that is relatively free of hierarchy and strong official intent to produce total literacy. The government identified illiterates and organized an administrative structure that engaged officials and community leaders and manned by animators who were responsible for teaching 5 illiterates each. Mizoram established 360 continuing education centers to handle continued education beyond the initial literacy teaching and to provide an educational safety net for school dropouts. One of the pioneers of the scheme is the Madras that started providing cooked meals to children in corporation schools in the Madras city in 1923. The program was introduced in a large scale in 1960s under the chief ministership of K. Kamaraj. The first major thrust came in 1982 to universalize the scheme for all children up to class 10. Tamil Nadu's midday meal program is among the best known in the country. Starting in 1982, Tamil Nadu took an approach to promoting literacy based on free lunches for school children, ignoring cynics who said it was an electoral gimmick and economists who said it made little fiscal sense. The then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, MGR, launched the program, which resembled a similar initiative in the 19th century Japan, because he had experienced as a child what it was like to go hungry to school with a family having no money to buy food. Eventually, the program covered all children under the age of 15 as well as pregnant women for the first 4 months of their pregnancy. Tamil Nadu's literacy rate rose from 54.4% in 1981 to 80.3% in 2011. In 2001, the Supreme Court of India instructed all states governments to implement free school lunches in all government funded schools, but implementation has been patchy due to corruption and social issues. Despite these hurdles, 120 million receive free lunches in Indian schools every day, making it the largest school meal program in the world. Although the decadal rise from 2001 to 2011 was only 7%, 60.4 in 2001 to 67.1% in 2011, Rajasthan had the biggest percentage decadal 1991 to 2001 increase in literacy of all Indian states, from about 38% to about 61%, a leapfrog that has been termed spectacular by some observers. Aggressive state government action in the form of the district primary education program, the Shiksha Karmi initiative and the Lok Jumbish program are created with a rapid improvement. Virtually every village in Rajasthan now has primary school coverage. When statehood was granted to Rajasthan in 1956, it was the least literate state in India with a literacy rate of 18%. With this, we have come to the end of today's session. Do you have any question?
Madam, I have a doubt. What are the barriers to adult education?
Interesting question. Barriers to adult education include internal factors such as attitudes and beliefs and external factors such as cost and time. Adult learners may find that situational issues including work and family responsibilities leave them with little money and no extra time to pursue education. They may also believe that they do not have the disposition, including study skills and academic ability, to be successful in schools. Some examples of situational barriers to adult learning include lack of transportation, scheduling challenges with work, the high cost of education, and problems with childcare. Because of these factors, adult learners may be dependent on other people such as employers, spouses, friends and children to support their educational efforts. Dispositional barriers to adult education include low motivation, poor self-esteem and a fear of failure. These barriers are challenging because they originate from established behavioral patterns. Hope you have understood literacy and adult education. Thank you for watching.